to Olfactofiles. I'm Tara, and today I'm going to do an overview of fragrances from the Italian niche house Xerjoff. And if you're not familiar with this house, it was founded, I think, in 2003 by Sergio Momo, and they have a huge number of fragrances in their arsenal. I would say, you know, I'm not sure that they're all available currently, but I would say they have well over 100 that they've created. And today I'm going to try in a short amount of time to talk about 15 of those. So I'm gonna do the best I can. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I do own 3 from their Casamarati line, and I will talk about those again just in case you haven't seen my other videos, but I'll try to be brief with that. But then I have some decants that I do have, you know, a decent amount of experience with because I've had them for a while, but I also just recently kindly received some samples from my friend who he helps run the Xerjoff That's Amore group on Facebook. So if you're not in that, you can check that out. But he sent me some samples too, which was really nice of him. So I appreciated him sending those over. So those are some other ones that I have to talk about. Those, because they're newer to me, I don't have like, you know, a full review about their longevity and things like that. But I will say it, you know, has been kind of the case across the board that every Xerjoff I try is high quality. I really haven't run into one that I thought wasn't good quality or I thought didn't perform well. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick before I get into the fragrances is that currently, as I'm filming this, there is a 10% off on certain like summer selection items on the Xerjoff website. So I think that's through August 21st, so you can check that out. It's not everything, like I said, it's just a selection of items, but there also are like bath and body products in there too that are significantly less expensive than some of the fragrances that you can get 10% off of those. So that might be a really good deal. And they have free shipping worldwide through the end of the month. So even if you don't necessarily buy something that you can get the 10% off, you still will get free shipping, which is kind of a saver because it's coming from Italy, where they're located, of course. And so shipping could be pretty expensive. So that will save you some money, at least on shipping. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that because that's going to be ending soon, at least for the 10% off. Like I said, you have through the end of the month for the free shipping, but wanted to let you know just in case. Oh, and if you're watching this in a different year than 2020, I'm sorry, this happened a long time ago. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the fragrances, and I'm gonna begin with the 3 that I have so I can show you the bottles and tell you a little bit about them. I love all 3 of these. But the first one you're probably already familiar with, even if you haven't watched my channel before, because it is super popular. This one is Lira. And again, this is from their Casamarati line. They all come in these sort of bottles. The 100 mils come with the tassels, but the 30 mils don't. I used to have a 30 ml and I used it up, guys. I used up a bottle of Lira and then I got the 100 ml because I needed it. It's so good. So this one has a note of blood orange in it, and I've mentioned this before on my channel. When I smell it on paper, I can kind of get the oranginess to it, but on my skin, it goes more lemony, which is very, very pleasant either way. It's very pleasant either way. But just to kind of give you a heads up, it could veer lemony depending on your skin chemistry. There's also definitely caramel in here. It's so sweet and delicious. There's vanilla. There's, I think, a touch of cinnamon in here even. And this is just one of my favorite gourmands in my entire collection. It's one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. So again, that one is Lira. The next one I have is Dama Bianca, and I've also talked about this before. I love this one. This is one of my favorite fragrances to wear in the spring especially, but even in like the early summer when it's not super hot, you could wear it in the summer too. Honestly, this is a really versatile fragrance. I think you could wear it to work. I think you can wear it, you know, on your days off. You could wear it even in the evening. It's so beautiful. And this one, I get the vanilla, but then with kumquat, which I love saying, iris, I think there's some ambrette in here too, or malt. And it's just such a really, like, it's light, but it actually projects a little bit, and the sillage is really nice on this. So the projection's not necessarily huge, but it's enough for people to notice, but the sillage is incredibly good. Every time I wear this, I get compliments. And it'll be like people that I've like walked past, like after I'm past them and they're behind me, I'll get a compliment because the sillage is just really nice on this. So again, that one is Dama Bianca. The last one that I have a full bottle of is Gran Ballo. And this one I've described as being like the grown-up, classy, refined version of Viva La Juicy, and I stand behind that statement. It really is. Like, if you loved that scent when you were younger, but you feel like maybe it's just not up to your standards, maybe you've gotten more into niche, or you've just, you know, evolved a bit, I think you would really love this one, because I certainly do. And I used to adore Viva La Juicy when I was, you know, young, like in my early 20s. And this reminds me of it, but it's so much better. Like I said, it's just blended better. It's more refined. It's a bit classier. It's like Viva La Juicy all grown up. And this one I get some like a honeysuckle sort of note with some caramel, I think. And then there's some sort of like a white floral, maybe jasmine in here. And then there's just a touch of vanilla in here. I really enjoy this one. And I think the name is fitting, Gran Ballo, because this is a more sort of fun type of thing. Maybe, you know, you could wear it out dancing or whatever, but all three of them that I own are so beautiful. Again, they're all from the line called Casa Marati, and I enjoy them. They all have good performance, and I would recommend any of them if those notes sound like something you would like. The next four I'm going to talk about are decants that I've owned for a little while, so I am fairly familiar with them. I've tried them several times in the past. The first one I'm going to talk about I will not spend a whole lot of time on because it is not available anymore. This one is a decant of a fragrance called Italica. This one has toffee in it or something along those lines, like this really sweet, like creamy, caramelly type of thing going on, but I think it's toffee and not caramel. I definitely also get a note of almond in here with some vanilla. I want to say there's a touch of, it could be saffron even. There's just something in the background there. But this is a really nice gourmand, good performance. Like I said, it's not really available, but you might be able to find it, you know, if somebody's selling decants like I got, or maybe somebody's selling their bottle. I don't know why they would do that. But you know what this reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of those Stroop waffles. If you've ever had one of those, it's because those are like these like crispy little, like, I don't know, like biscuity or, you know, cookie type of like outsides with this caramel on the inside. I don't know. This sort of reminds me of that. But anyway, that one's called Italica, and I'm sorry, it's not available. So I hope that was helpful. The next one up is Renaissance, and I've actually gone through a full sample of this before, and now I have this other little decant that I got from Oswalt NYC. They're a good perfume shop that they used to have a physical store in New York, but they recently closed that. However, they're still online. So if you ever have trouble finding samples of certain fragrances, you could check there because they do these nice little decants. So anyway, Renaissance is this really beautiful citrusy fragrance. And when I say citrusy, I mean like all of the citruses. Like it smells like there's lemon and lime and orange. Like it's so citrusy, but then there's this like light touch of mint in the background, and it has a little bit of like a woodiness to it in the dry down. And I am really impressed with how long this lasts because it is a citrus fragrance. Usually those are gone within a few hours, maybe 4 to 5 if you're lucky. This one stuck around at least 6 hours when, you know, I was wearing it out in the heat. And I would say probably after 6 hours it was still lingering, but it became more of a skin scent. But that's really impressive for me with a citrus fragrance. So again, that one's Renaissance, and it's from the 1861 collection. I also have a decant of Naxos from the 1861 collection, and again, this is my second sample of this one. I think I might eventually get this one. This one has, in the opening, I get a lot of tonka, and it's still there in the dry down, but I get more of the spiciness from the tonka in the opening, but then in the dry down, I get this sweet tobacco note that's really delicious. There's also definitely some lavender in here with a little bit of honey, and I think maybe a touch of vanilla. And I do think there's like a little bit of like a creamy sort of like very soft woodiness in the dry down, but this is really about that tonka, tobacco, some honey, and lavender. Those are the main things I get from this. And I think that a lot of people will tell you this is a men's fragrance, but I believe this is fully unisex, so don't let that put you off if you're a female. I would say basically if you're a female and you like, you know, tonka tobacco scents, you should check this out. So again, that one's Naxos. And then the last one that I've had some time to actually, you know, try out a few times is Erba Pura. And this one is a really, really fruity fragrance. So if you enjoy fruity fragrances, this one might be of interest to you. In the opening, I get a burst of citrus, but there's also like a bunch of other fruits in there. But I would mostly, if I were to guess, I would say there's mango and then like some melon in there of some sort, maybe like a cantaloupe or like a muskmelon kind of thing. There's also definitely some musk in here, as well as I think there's a little bit of amber and vanilla in the dry down. But man, this one is just a really nice fruity fragrance. Again, lasts a long time on my skin, and this one does project fairly well. All right, now we're moving into the samples that my friend sent me, and I just got these yesterday. I sprayed them on tester strips, and actually I should have mentioned this before. All the tester strips that I'm smelling, I sprayed earlier, so they've been sitting for like many hours now. And so the next ones, like I said, I'm not really going to be able to give any information about performance because I haven't been able to really test them out, but I do just kind of want to give you my first impressions on them. There are some really unique fragrances in here. There are some I love. One of these that I really like is one that's on the 10% discount, and so that's really tempting to me. But anyway, just to give you a heads up, these are basically my first impressions. I did smell them when I first got them yesterday because I couldn't wait, but otherwise, you know, this is not a full review, just to be very clear. The first one up is called Esquel, I think is maybe how you say that. Focus, please. Focus, there we go. So that's the name there, Esquel. And this one, I get some lavender from it, and there's like this balsamic sort of note to it. I'm not sure exactly what's giving it that, but there is this like warm sort of balsamic type of feel to it. I think there's some vanilla in here, and then maybe some tonka. There's like a little bit of something spicy there. But this is a unique fragrance. To me, I would describe this as being a little bit aloof, but like with a warm undertone. But yeah, it would be like that kind of person who, you know, just kind of keeps their distance, but you know, deep down inside they're warm and welcoming. That's what this sort of reminds me of. So I'm not sure that that's like the best description in the world, but hopefully you kind of get what I mean by that. The next one is Corallo, and this one comes from the Casa Marati line, like the ones that I have come from. This is another one that I think I pick up some lavender. It's not as strong as some of the previous ones I talked about, but I think it's there. I believe there's like a little bit of a powdery iris here. I want to say there might be neroli in this and a touch of vanilla, and there's something giving it a little touch of creaminess. So that could be sandalwood, but I don't know. Yeah, this is a pretty fragrance. It's got a little bit of a liveliness to it, and it's definitely not indolic at all. So I do pick up like maybe neroli or perhaps jasmine, something like that, but not indolic whatsoever, because you know, if you've watched my videos before, if it's indolic, I'm not gonna like it, but I do like this. This is a little bit lively. Like I said, it's kind of light. And yeah, it's just this like soft, little powdery, little creamy. Really nice. So again, that one's really pretty, and it's called Corallo. The next one I have really took me by surprise when I first smelled it because it doesn't smell like anything I've ever smelled before. This one is called Golden Dallah, if it will ever focus, thank you. And this one has this like spicy nuttiness to it. And you know, like sometimes you'll find gourmands that have a nuttiness to them. Like obviously we see almond a lot, but I'm talking like hazelnut with spices, and it is dry. This is not a sweet fragrance. This was like if you took like the nuts and some spices and maybe like a touch of coffee powder and some like cacao powder, like bitter cacao powder, and you mix that up, this is what it would smell like. It's so unique. I really am intrigued by this one. I do like, you know, usually a little bit of sweetness to my fragrances. This is not sweet, but yeah, this is just so unique and interesting, and I have not been able to quit smelling this one since I got it. So this one is Golden Dallah. The next one is called Dhajala, maybe? Dhajala? I don't know. You can see the name there. There you go. So that's that one. And this one has this like citrus opening, but then again, this is one that has like this like resinous feel to it, or maybe like a little bit of a balsamic kind of feel to it, but it's not like a lot, it's just a touch. And I think that there is a note of geranium in this, I believe is supposed to be in here. And I do sort of get that. It's a unique sort of flower. It's not your typical floral coming through, but there is some type of floral in here. Yeah, this one's really interesting. I don't think I could compare it to any other fragrances that I've smelled before, so that's kind of fun. I like that I'm finding some things that I really have no comparison for. So again, that one's Dhajala? I don't know. Okay, the next one is one of my favorites from all of these samples, and it's called 40 Knots. There you go, maybe. There we go. So this is from the Join the Club line, and I think it's like a sea theme because this is definitely has some aquatic notes to it. Wow, I love this. This has like a cedar sort of woodiness to it. Like I said, there's some aquaticness to it, some saltiness, but at the same time, it has a little bit of richness to it. Like it's not your typical sort of woody aquatic fragrance. It does have some richness. I think maybe that's partially coming from that sort of cedar note that I'm getting. But man, this is, oh, it's so good, guys. This one is so good. Totally unisex, I think, personally. I could see where some people might say that, you know, it's more masculine, but I think it's totally unisex. And honestly, I think, although it doesn't smell like it, I think if you like Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt, there's a good chance you would like this. I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I think there's a good chance you would like this. So anyway, again, that one is called 40 Knots, and this is one of them that's included in that summer sale, probably because it's like an aquatic theme, so summer. Yeah, this one is the one of them that I'm tempted to pick up during the sale, so that's a good one. This next one is called Shingl or Shingle. It's surely not Shingle. It's probably Shingle. But this one has this like light rum type of note, like a light rum, not like I'm talking it's a light note, I mean like it smells like a light rum, a clear colored rum, I should say. And it has this herbaceous quality to it. I'm not sure exactly what herb is in here, but there's an herb in here because it has an herbaceous quality to it as well. I also get a touch of iris in this one that makes it just ever so powdery, and maybe a touch of vanilla, but man, that is an enjoyable fragrance. This is not overpowering at all. I think there's like a little bit of a clean musk in here. So again, that one is Shingl. The last two that I have here are, in addition to 40 Knots, probably my two favorites from all these samples that I got. This one is from their Chemi line, and these come in a very different looking bottle than many of the Xerjoff fragrances. But this one's called Aurum, perhaps? That's probably how you say that. But this one, right away, I get some rose and then like a light, clean oud. It's not heavy at all. And I feel like there's a touch of incense and vanilla in here, and maybe the tiniest bit of chocolate. That might not be true. Maybe. Yesterday when I sprayed this, I do remember getting some sort of like a berry-ish type of note in the opening, but that's gone now. However, that rose oud is still really beautiful. And like I said, I can still pick up maybe some incense or chocolate, vanilla, something like that going on. And this one, I think if you are like nervous about oud, I think would be totally fine because it is a very light, clean oud. It's, you know, letting the rose still shine, and it's not that funky oud whatsoever. So again, that one is Aurum, and it's from the Chemi line. Okay, the last one that I have for you guys is probably my favorite from these samples that I received, and this one is Ibitira, I think. I don't know exactly how you say that. I would say that this is probably my favorite, then 40 Knots, and then the one from Chemi, the Aurum. Oh man, guys, if you love iris, you need to sample this. This is amazing. This might be my favorite iris fragrance I've ever smelled. And I love iris. You know I love infusion to iris. This reminds me of that, but man, this might be my favorite iris scent I've ever smelled. It's not overly makeup-y at all. Like I said, I do think if you've smelled Prada infusion to iris, it's along that line. And I think if you like that, you would like this. It has like a little bit of a citrus, maybe lemon in here in the opening, I remember. And I will say, I honestly think there's a little bit of vetiver in here, but I'm not sure. But it feels like that to me. There could be some other florals besides iris, but I'm not sure. That iris is just really the star of the show here. And there is a little bit of woodiness in the dry down, but man, this one, oof, it's so good, guys. I love this one. So yeah, I will be putting this on my wish list. This one, again, Ibitira. I don't know how you say it. I'm probably butchering that name. But if you are a lover of iris, this is one to check out. All right, you guys, so that is my quick overview of Xerjoff. Like I said, I tried to fit in those 15 fragrances as quickly as possible, so hopefully this isn't too long when I go to edit it. Overall, I think this house is really high quality. I feel like they pride themselves on making really high quality fragrances, and they just have such a huge array that I feel like anyone can find at least something, at least one fragrance from their offerings that they would enjoy. So let me know, have you tried any Xerjoffs? And if so, what are your favorites? Do you have any recommendations for me? Would love to hear it because there are still so many that they have that I have never smelled. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And I noticed, by the way, that I am super close to 1,000 subscribers, which is really exciting. So thank you so much for that. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, why not hit the subscribe button? Why not, huh? But But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!